I want you to be honest with yourself for a quick second. Do you actually know what you're actually doing with your money, or are you just guessing, making decisions and hoping that they're right? Listen, that's not a discipline problem. Let's be honest, that is a clarity problem. On February 10th, I'm doing a free live class called Stop Guessing with Your Money. I am going to be walking you through how to get real structure around your finances, so you're not wondering if you're on track. You just know. It's going to be on YouTube. It's free. I want you to come hang out with this. I want you to register, because if you register, you'll get reminders to replay and some extra bonuses. And also, we're giving away $5,000 live that night to help someone get ahead in year 2026. Listen, all you got to do is go to anthonyoneal.com/stop guessing. Again, that is anthonyoneal.com/stop guessing. Hey, let's have an amazing 2026. And you know what? Head over there. February 10th. I'm going to see you soon. Let's get back to the show. They say nearly 75% of young people, our children, our future, will not inherit any wealth. Well, today I'm here in DC at the Trump Account Summit, learning more information about this new account called the Trump Account, and how any child born between the years of 2025 to 2028 will receive a $1,000 investment. And so for me, I stand by what I teach. I don't worry about the White House. I worry about my house. And anything that comes from the White House, I got to ask myself some questions. How can it benefit our house, our home? At the end of the day, we all want financial freedom. At the end of the day, we all want to get out of debt, consumer debt. We all want to build wealth, and we should all want to leave a legacy. And leaving a legacy, it shouldn't be just about words, but it really should be about what can they inherit? What can we pass down? How much money can we give them? How can we set our kids up to win financially? So that's what today's episode is going to be about. Keep it locked and listen. At the end of this, let me know in the comment section, what's your thoughts about the Trump Account Summit? Remember, this is not about politics. This is about how can we utilize the tools that's coming from the White House for our house. It's your boy, Anthony O'Neal. Let's get to it. Almost 50% of the people who watch and listen to this show every single week aren't even subscribed yet. That means half of you all are just passing by, but you're missing out on the fullness of this journey. Listen, this isn't just a YouTube show or a podcast. This is a movement to help you get out of the red, get into the black, break free from consumer debt, and start building real wealth. Not just for you, not just for your family, but what about for your children's children who possibly you will never even meet, but they'll know who you are because you left them something. Listen, every single episode is about giving you the tools, the mindset, and the community to finally experience the freedom, the peace, and the abundance you've been praying for. Come on, somebody. I want you to be able to say yes to your dreams and to stop worrying about bills and to leave a legacy that outlives you. But you can't do it alone. Better yet, you should not even be doing it alone. But the truth of the fact is, you don't have to do it alone. If you are tired of just surviving and you're ready to start thriving, hit that subscribe button right now. Don't just watch from the sidelines. I want you to join this amazing community. Let's break these chains together and build the future you deserve. Your journey to financial freedom starts with one simple step today. Just hit that subscribe button, and together we're gonna build something amazing. Here's the second step. Pay attention to today's show. Let's get to it. Every 10 seconds, a child is born in the United States of America. If we add that math up, that means almost 10,000 babies are born a day. And I want to say this from the very beginning of this episode, that most of these babies will start with absolutely nothing. Most of these babies will come into families that are living paycheck to paycheck, that their mothers and fathers love them dearly, right? But they don't have the financial means to set them up for success. Or let's even go deeper. They may have the financial means, but they don't have the financial education to make the right decisions to set their child up for success. But today we're going to have a conversation that I believe can change all of that starting today. In 2024, about 3.6 million babies were born in the United States of America alone. That exact math is going to put us right around 9,800 babies a day, down to one baby every 10 seconds. Half of young adults under the age of 35 have about $5,500 or less in savings. Most 18-year-olds in America, the United States of America, have only a couple of $1,000s to their name. Most young adults, 18, or let's say 22, 23, graduating college, are stepping into adulthood with maybe a few $1,000s in the bank and the lack of financial education. We're not talking about tens of thousands invested since before them at birth. We're not talking about the financial education and the wisdom and knowledge to make the best decisions when they graduate college, when they graduate high school. Ask me, how do I know this? Because I am a professor at the Virginia Union University, as you can see. And the amount of students that come into my classroom, my consumer economics class, and do not even understand the basic financial education doesn't shock me, because I was in the same place. But it does alarm me that in 2026, we're not teaching our kids about money. We're teaching them how to work. We're telling them to go into debt to get more education, but we're not giving them the proper tools and resources to set them up. You know, last week, there were news, and a part of it kind of bothered me a little bit. While I have my own personal thoughts and opinions about this particular administration, while I have my own thoughts about some of the things that our president says and does, this is not a political show. This is a money show. This is a show, this is a platform that wants to help all people, especially African Americans and minority individuals, get out of the red and get into the black. On my own personal time, I have conversations about politics, but on this platform, I never will have a conversation about politics. Last week, all we could see is Nicki Minaj and Donald Trump holding hands, and Nicki Minaj vows to do this and vows to do that. And while people have their opinions today, I want to talk about the Trump account. Today, I want to talk about how do we set up young people to win. Today, I want to have a conversation on, like, man, what if our parents started with just the bare minimum so that when we turn 18, we don't have to apply for student loans. We could just go to college. When we turn, 22, 23 and graduate from college, how do we have $50,000, $100,000 to our name? When we get to our 30s, how do we have $500,000 to our name? When we get to 55, how do we have $2-3+ million to our name? You see, with this new Trump account, every child born between the year 2025 and the year 2028 gets a $1,000 head start, automatically invested in American companies. Now, for a lot of us watching this, you already have a child. What we're going to go through today is I want you to take the same math. I want you to take that $1,000 out of your savings account and put it into, the accounts we're going to talk about today. And then follow the math. And I really want you to think about this. And I always lead with this. I don't give a crap about what the White House does. I'm focused on my house. And whenever a law comes from the White House, I have to then assess, how does this impact my house? And if it doesn't impact my house or impact my family and the people who I love, man, I got to focus on making sure that I'm good, my family's good, and my community is good. And so I really want to break down what this really means. And I want to break down the numbers. If we're using the S&P 500, right? Historically, the average rate of return of 10.5%. This is specifically from the years of 1957 through the years of 2025, last year. I went back and looked at every single year, and the average was about 10.5% of an annual rate of return. And I want to break this down. If you open up a Trump account and get that $1,000, or if you just go put $1,000 into a S&P 500 index fund, I want to give you the scenarios right now up front of how this could change your child's life, your nieces and nephews' life, your loved one's life. Listen, man, I'm to the point, I don't have kids, and I don't know whenever God is going to allow me, one, to get married and one to have kids. But I have 5 nieces and nephews, and I have 2 amazing cousins who I adopted. And from the time Theo, who's the oldest nephew of mine, was born, I opened up a 529 account for them. And I want to show you the numbers of how my nephews and how your kids and how your loved ones can be. And a large portion of this watching are in the same boat as me. I don't have kids. Well, do you have any loved ones? Do you have any nephews? Do you have any nieces? I don't give away birthday gifts. I don't buy toys. I put money into a 529, into an IRA. Because I do not want my nephews and my nieces to have to struggle the way that I struggled, to have to struggle the way their parents struggled to start off, to have to struggle the way my parents started when they started. No, I want them to graduate with money and with knowledge. So let me give you scenario one. And we're going to have this up on the screen. I don't know how Ed and our team is going to put this up on the screen, but I really want to walk through these 3 different scenarios so you can really see the picture. $1,000 invested at birth, left alone just for 18 years at 10.5%. You never put anything else in it. You just put $1,000 in there, or you open up $1,000 Trump account. By the age of 18, or within 18 years, that account is worth a little over $6,000. By the age of 28, again, and nothing's in there, that account is worth $16,254. By the time they get to 55, again, $1,000 not touched for 55 years is worth almost $240,000. So that's a scenario. If you just open up an account with $1,000, if you already have a kids, and invest that into an S&P 500 index fund, or you open up your Trump account, and I'm going to go through this later on, how you could do that, how you could take advantage of it if you had a baby born between last year, 2025, up to the year of 2028. There is a certain kind of way you got to do it, and I will explain that and drop all the information inside of today's show notes. But now, I don't believe the majority of you all are going to just let that sit there and not contribute to anything and not contribute anything to it, because that's just not what we teach here inside in the Black community. We don't do that. So I'm going to give you another scenario. I call this scenario 2. This is where we have $1,000 in there, but then now we're adding $1,000 a year to it, which is about $83 a month. All right. Here's the scenario. $1,000 at birth plus $1,000 a year was about $83 a month. By the age of 18, right? Now they got 55, a little over 55, close to $56,000 sitting inside their investment portfolio. I want to stop right there before we get to the next number. How could your life have changed if you were 18 years old and you had almost $56,000 to your name to either go into the real world and get a job or go into college with $55,000? But I don't want to stop there. Let's break it down. By age 28, now we're looking at about $168,000. But wait a minute, family. Wait a minute. If your kid is watching my show, and if you're watching my show and teaching your kids the power of compound interest and the power of letting your money sit, by the time they turn 55, they'll have a little over $2.6 million to their name. Check this out, family. Did you know that nearly 4 in 10 Americans still have zero money invested in the stock market? That's a gap where wealth is built or missed. If you're just saving, you're falling behind because the markets average close to about a 10% a year for a century, while your savings account is barely keeping up with inflation. I want to make this plain. If you wait just 5 years to start investing, you could lose out on hundreds of thousands of dollars in future wealth. That's not hype, that's real math. The wealthiest 10% of Americans now own over 90% of all stocks because they started and they stayed consistent. But here's the thing, you don't need to be rich to honestly get inside of the investing game. With platforms like SoFi Invest, Public, and Moomoo, you can open an account today, start with as little as $1, literally, and buy fractional shares of the same assets that have built generational wealth for millions. No commissions, 100% no excuses on your end. Listen, I need you to hear me clearly. Stop sitting on the sidelines. Go to anthonyoneal.com/invest right now to compare the top investing platforms and open your first investing account today. Your future self and your children's children will thank you for taking action right now. We have to start building wealth, not just watching others get rich. Do not let another year go by. As a matter of fact, don't let another day go by. Take the first step, family. Visit anthonyoneal.com/invest. Let's get to work. Let's start investing ASAP. Let's get back to the show. Building credit the traditional way is slow and confusing, and most credit cards want you to rack up debt just to boost your score. You see, I used to think that you had to choose between staying debt-free or having a good credit score. But, here's what I've discovered. There's actually a way to build credit without any credit checks, without going into debt, and without paying crazy interest fees. And it works faster than I thought possible. See, my friends at Kickoff, they are the truth. They are doing something different. They help you build credit the right way without the debt trap. I've seen people go from no credit to a 700 plus score using their system, and they did it completely debt free. Say one more time, completely debt free. Over 150,000 people have left 5-star reviews on the App Store. Users see an average of 34 points increase in their credit score. Some even see, watch this, up to 84 points within the first 12 months. These aren't just numbers. These are real people getting approved for homes and getting better interest rates. Here's the truth. Every month you wait is another month of paying higher interest rates on everything. A good credit score can save you a lot of money, thousands on a mortgage, hundreds on car insurance, and even help you skip the security deposits. Don't let bad credit cost you money. I want you to visit anthonyoneal.com/kickoff right now to get started for as little as $1 on your first month. I want you to build credit the debt-free way because your future self will thank you. A lot of you are who are watching me right now in your 50s. And they say the average person will retire with about $350,000 in their 401k and some other small person if they are invested. How would your life change if you could retire with $2.6 million? You even got to pull from the principal. You can just pull from the interest a year and live off of that. That's going to be close to at least $120,000, $30,000 a year that you can pull just from interest. But I want y'all to look at this is just the bare minimum of $83 a month. This is we haven't even gotten into what I suggest. And on today's episode, I'm not even going to get into that. I want to show y'all just simple, basic math. That if you set your kid up and while they're growing and while they're evolving and while they're maturing, you're teaching them and you're showing them, hey, this is your money, son. This is your money, daughter. This is your money, nephews, niece. And if you put in an extra 15% of your income, you can have $8-10 million by the time you get to 55. But wait, I ain't done yet. I'm going to give y'all one more scenario. I, this is what I call the rich baby scenario. This is when we're going to add $7,500 a year. Within the Trump account, you can add $5,000. You can contribute up to $5,000 into that account. But then if you have an employer who is going to be giving money as well, they can contribute up to $2,500 that they can write off to your child's account. So when we do the math, that's an extra $625 a month. So what I want to do is, okay, cool. Let me show you the math, y'all. If, and I'm going to break this down because I want to make sure y'all understand this. Let's say you opened up a $1,000 IRA and you got the $1,000 from the Trump account, either or, right? And let's just say mom and dad for the first 18 years, or let's say up until the time, let me do 18. We're going to do, in this scenario, we're going to do 18. For the first 18 years, you're doing that. You're putting $625 a month. Technically, it's going to be right around 400, 450 from yourself. And then this is just if your employer did it, right? That's the total of 625. Now, if you could put 625 a month in there, by all means. But I want to show you what could happen if you just went all the way out and you maxed this thing out. $1,000 at birth. By the age 18, that's $625 a month. By the time they turn 18, I just get excited when I see this. Put this up on the screen. They're going to have $381,000. $381,000 at 18. Let's leave it right there. We're going to go back to the other two. I'm going to give you the other two by 28, by 55. But I want to leave this right there. Where would you be at today if your parents gave you a check for almost $400,000 at 18 when you graduated? I'm 42 this year. If my parents would have gave me $381,000, I would have never been in debt. I would have went to school and paid for it all cash. And I would have bought, yes, a nice car. And I would have become a homeowner at 18. And right around that time at 18, I would have probably bought a home for about a townhome or a condo for like $125,000, $150,000. I'm already working on my net worth portfolio at 18 because my parents thought about me when I was just coming out the womb. Before they even turn 30, by the age of 28, they'll have a little over $1.1 million. Now, for me, I am not going to force my nephews and my niece, and when I'm blessed to have children, I'm not going to force my kids to do what they don't want to do. But I'm going to make sure that they understand the power of how we set them up. Because by age 55, if you're contributing $625 to a good index fund, to a good IRA, by the age of 55, I'm going to say this one more time. By the age of 55, they can have $18 million. $18 million, y'all. That's for me, that's what, 13 years from now. 18 million at 55. Do you know what they can pull off of that, just the interest, and leave that? Oh, man, now we're talking about generational wealth. And I get emotional when I think about this. Because what happens now? We just changed our family's tree. Think about this. Now what's going to happen when they have kids? They're going to open up an account for them because they see what happened with them. Let's just say they got 10 million. Let's just go to the lower end. If they just pull $250,000 out a year because they're debt free, they ain't got nothing. They just pull that out from the interest that their money is making. Now what happens is they pass the principal onto their children and onto their grandchildren. Now, brothers, I'm talking to the brothers here, fathers here. Now that's legacy with our last name. I think the reason why I get so emotional is because I'm the last living O'Neal within my family's bloodline. I'm not the last living male in my bloodline, we know that, but my mom's maiden name was O'Neal. Her last name is Gibbons now, and my father's last name is Ross. So I have my mom's maiden name. And so when I look at my legacy with my children, when I'm blessed to have some, I pray that God does bless me with the male, with the young boy, because now the O'Neal is starting over with me in my life. I want to repeat this because I really want this to stick with you all. If you do nothing but claim the $1,000 from the Trump account or put $1,000 in an IRA, invest it into the S&P 500, your child would have about $6,000 minimum by 18. If you just add $1,000 a year, that's $55,000 by the age of 18. Or by the time before they even hit 30, they got a net worth nearly close to $200,000 and 2.6 by the time they're 55. I think the reason why I pause and I get so emotional about this is because we have the opportunity to change and set our younger generation up to win. If you and your employer together contribute $7,500 a year, you're talking about $380,000 by the age of 18, up to almost $18 million by the age of 55. Heck, that's $1 million by the time they turn 28. Why is this so important? Why do you think I get so emotional about this? Research shows that kids who have investment accounts and learn about money earlier on in life are more likely to go to college and complete and not take any breaks, buy a home in their 20s, and build massive wealth before they hit their 40s. Even early childhood investment programs have led to over 60% of individuals who have higher income by the age of 30, compared to kids who do not have that kind of support. Financial habits and attitudes are formed in childhood and strongly influence how adults our age handle saving, investing, and financial stress. Can I say something that's probably going to rub some of you all wrong, and hopefully it will challenge you, hopefully it will convict you? The reason why some of us are broke is not because of our job or the income we have. It's because our parents failed us. And they didn't intentionally fail us, but they failed us because they weren't taught either. So our parents couldn't teach us what they didn't know. That's the first problem. Can I give you the second problem? And I know I'm going to get some criticism for this, but I just got to say it. We'll get on the internet and repost Nicki Minaj and Donald Trump holding hands. We'll get on the internet and give our opinions and do the research on her outfit, what she had on, but we won't get on the internet and do the research to see how can we get out of debt? How can we build wealth? How can we set our kids up to win? Man, Nicki Minaj and Donald Trump, they're already freaking millionaires. I don't care about that. Do I have my opinions on the policy side of things? Yes, I do. But I'm not going to put more energy into that over securing myself and my family and my future kids' financial future. Because this, it's my responsibility. When I look at my nephews, when I look at my niece, well, they are not my financial responsibility. They are Glenn and Yvette Henry's responsibility, and my little brother John's responsibility. But I also have a responsibility to expose my loved ones to the wealth of knowledge that I have been able to learn. I don't want my kids getting 18 and they don't know anything about money, but they know everything about celebrities, basketball players, football players, artists and hip hop artists and rap artists. They know all the latest and greatest dances. They know how, what's the coolest car out there, what's the number one name brand item, but they don't know how much money they have to their name, but they don't know what a freaking IRA is. They do not know what debt is. I'm literally in my classroom talking to 19 and 20-year-olds. I'm like, what is debt? How does interest work? And I'm not knocking them because that's why I'm here. That's why I'm at a HBCU. That's why I'm back in school myself at Regent University to get my doctorate degree in finance and investing, because I want to make sure I go back to my black people, my black brothers and sisters, whether they're young or old, and teach them this information. But I want you all to partner with me and pass this down to our young ones. Because think about this. We're on our phones for everything else. Our kids are on their phones playing games, looking up social media, watching YouTube. What if you put their account on their phone? Say, hey, son, hey, daughter, let's look at your account today. What if you gave your kid an assignment every single month? Hey, your assignment every single month, before I give you any kind of commission or quote unquote allowance, or before I give you any more money, you have to write me a report every single month. How much money did you make this month from your money sitting in this account? Then you got to look up, what is another ETF or index fund or a stock that we should look into? What if you use this phone not just to entertain them and to keep their attention so you can do other stuff around the house? I ain't knocking that. But what if you can get them to the point to where they are coming to you saying, Mom, Dad, look how much money's in my account. Now what happens is at 5 years old, at 10 years old, you're having a conversation about money. Now they're excited because they see at 10 years old, they're worth $10,000. At 18 years old, they're worth $55,000 to $100,000. When they graduate college, while they're in college and they're taking these classes, they're excited because why? They hear everyone else stressing. They looking at their account like, yo, I cannot believe I got $300,000 in this account. It starts a cycle of excitement. It positions your children to think differently from the average person. Now we can start teaching their kids about earning power. Now we can start having a conversation like, hey, when you graduate college debt free, you're going to have about an extra $150,000, $60,000. You got some options here. Do you want to take that money and go buy a house, maybe, and or maybe go buy a condo to start off, right? And then Now we're starting to have a conversation of, okay, we could buy the condo for $200,000. You put $150,000 down. You pay $50,000 on a mortgage. You live there until like you're about 30 years old. Then you take that, keep that in your portfolio, and now you rent this out. Now you got to pay for a condo that's generating you income, growing in appreciation. So now, daughter, we got to talk about, this is what we call invest in real estate investment. This is what we call assets. This is what we call appreciation. This is what we call net worth building. Do you see what we're doing? But nah, man, we want to jump on Shade Room and know what all these other millionaires are doing. We want to know and give our opinion on what they should be doing and how they should be voting and what the heck is going on with them. But we're not taking the time to really get the knowledge and the wisdom. The word of God simply says is that people perish for the lack of knowledge. And I believe that your dreams and some of the things that we desire perish because we haven't taken the opportunity to really learn. I want to ask you a question. And honestly, I want you to put this in the comment section. How would your life be different if you started with $100,000 at 25 years old? How would your life be different if you started with $100,000 after graduating college in your young 20s? I don't want you to rush this answer. I want you to be honest with yourself. I really do. How? When I think about my life, man, and don't get it twisted, man, I was raised by 4 loving parents. I have a unique situation because I've never said it this way on my show. But my biological father had every right to be completely upset with my mother. He had every right to, I ain't gonna say that. But man, my 4 parents came together out of a situation that I think in 2026 will be an ugly situation. But my family came together for me, and they taught me everything that they could. Every single thing that they could. So now it's my responsibility to take what they taught me and then add on to what they taught me from the things that God has exposed me to. My children are going to start off their life. My nephews and nieces are going to start off their life with hundreds of thousands of dollars inside of their accounts. Hundreds of thousands of dollars to their name. The chocolate babies, Yvette and Glenn Henry's kids, they're already rich because of their name on YouTube and all the amazing stuff that they are doing. And they put that money into an investment for them. So my nephews and nieces are going to start off wealthy. Even Elijah, my little brother's baby, is already wealthy. Because our family, we understand the importance of investing at an early age. We have the opportunity to change things. So, for those who are saying, you know what, Anthony, I'm going to take advantage of the Trump account. I'm going to give you the practical things here that you need to do to open it up. You can open it up starting July 4th. Okay. Step number 1 is you got to make sure your child has a social security number. All right. Then step number 2, when you file your taxes, you got to check the box on the form 4547 titled Trump Account Election or Elections to claim your Trump account. Then step 3 is the account is open in your child's name, but you are the custodian until they turn 18. All right. Step 4, man, you can add up $7,500 per year, $5,000 from the parents, $2,500 from employers. For an example, we learned that Uber is even contributing to their staff members' Trump account. Step number 5 is the money invested in a low-cost index fund. Think like the S&P 500. So this is not a savings bond, and this is something that is going to be powerful. Some of the key things that you should know about the Trump account based upon my studies and my reviews. No contributions are required, but every dollar you add accelerates the goal, the growth, not the goal, the growth. At 18, your child could use the money for college, first home, or they can keep it growing for retirement. After 18, it functions like a traditional IRA. So withdrawals for education or a first home, they can withdraw penalty free. Listen, if you want to learn more about the Trump account, if you want to look into it, man, go to trumpaccounts.gov. I will link that inside. And here's my thing. If the White House is going to give us something, if this administration is going to give us something, how do I say this respectfully? We got 4 years of this administration. Let's try to get something out of it. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there because my philosophy is I will always respect the presidency. I will always respect the president. I can say this respectfully. Barack Obama was my favorite president, followed by Bill Clinton. The way Barack Obama was disrespected, I wish people could respect people even though they disagree with a lot of things that they may do or say. I disagree with some things that Barack Obama did. But in my opinion, he was a great president. But when I look at other people, black or white, we don't know how to disagree with someone and still respect them. And I've learned if I don't have something positive to say, I'm going to shut up. Period. 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 That's why I have a money platform, not a politic platform. Listen, this is going to be powerful. I believe that we have something here that could be transformational. And when I say we have something here, I'm not necessarily talking about the Trump accounts. I'm saying we have an opportunity to set our kids up to make sure that they don't have the same struggles that we had. The amount of information that we have access to now, if our kids do not have a head start when they turn 18, when they graduate from college, we failed them. We failed them. You can attack me. You can say, Anthony, you're not a father. But no, man, listen. You can't tell me you couldn't put nothing in there and you drive in a car, a 2025 or 2026 car. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me you couldn't open up an account and you got on a Louis Vuitton purse. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that you couldn't do this and you're living in a high rise or you're living in an expensive condo, an expensive apartment complex. You can't tell me that you could not set your kids up. Because I promise you, I would say for 60 to 70% of the people, if you show me your bank statement, I can show you where you're spending your money. I can even tell you where your heart is. I want my kids to know that they have my heart. I want to be in heaven looking down on my grandchildren and saying, I did that. I did that. Me and my wife did that. I want my great, great, great grandchildren who I will possibly never, ever meet to still know my name. I want their mother To be like, no, I didn't get a chance to meet great-great-grandpa Anthony O'Neill, but this is who he was. This is what he stood for. And son, his blood is inside of you. You have his last name. Daughter, today you have his last name. When you get married, you will lose it, but you still have his DNA. It is our responsibility to carry on a legacy that he started for us. Because of him, your great-grandmother and great-grandfather continued his, and then your granddad and grandma taught us. And so it's my responsibility to teach you because of 50, 100 years ago. Whew. I get excited about that. I ain't gonna lie. I get chills about that. That gives me more chills than me driving my dream car. That gives me more chills than me going on a private yacht cruise. That gives me more chills than pulling up to my dream home, knowing that I won't be able to see a certain group of my bloodline, but they will be impacted by the decisions I've made today. I get excited. Listen, we can do this. You can do this. I'm way over my time. Hit the thumbs up for me on YouTube. Subscribe. Join this community. We have a lot of great things coming out this year that's going to really walk with you through your journey. You're going to see exactly how you can change your life within the next 12 months. Keep it locked, and we'll see you in the next show. Peace out.